He's a national Edward R. Murrow and multi-Emmy award-winning investigative journalist and author, and a former WTOL 11 staffer. Now author Jonathan Walsh joins us this morning, and you can catch up with him in Toledo this weekend. Jonathan, good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So you were on the program a few weeks back, and I know you talked with Tim Miller, too, about this project that you've been working on. For folks who may have missed it, tell me a little bit about your book and the inspiration behind it.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you. I want to thank the staff. I want to thank WTOL for lending such a wonderful amount of time and certainly your talents to such an important cause. And it's because of people like you who are spreading the word about childhood cancer and the realities of that for families all over our state. Well, that's why we have been selling hundreds and hundreds of books. And so I thank you from the bottom of my heart. All the families thank you. The inspiration for all of this started way back in 2006, 2007, when I was handed a tiny article, maybe 3 inches long, that said there are 8 to 9 cases of childhood cancer in such a small population in and around Clyde in eastern Sandusky County. And so from there, I started investigating about, why these kids were getting cancer, talked to the families, showed the WTOL audience just what it's like to walk this walk and fight this fight that is such a nightmare for so many people. And it became such a huge problem and issue in and around Clyde and Green Springs, Green Creek Township, Fremont. It turned into 35, almost 3 dozen kids who were in this study.
Wow.
Where they were trying to talk about, what is happening here. And you can see on your screen there were some things done, some testing done. But in my opinion, it was far too late. And unfortunately, we have never found out what caused the cancer cluster there.
Yeah, but we were looking at some heartbreaking video, I would imagine, of the little girl who is the force behind the title of your book. Tell me a little bit about her.
Such an inspiration. I mean, you talk about a 9-year-old kid, Alexa Brown, and the story is My Child Next, the Alexa Brown story, and she's a huge reason why I wrote this book, because she had to grow up really quickly. When you get cancer as a kid, you're no longer a child. You are exposed to really adult things. And the way she handled this, the way she fought, the way she showed her courage and supported others. CaringBridge.com has a journal where a lot of people from around the world get together who have had cancer and kids with cancer, and then they talk about how to deal with this and how they're dealing with it. And Alexa would get letters from around the world thanking her for sharing her story and for inspiring them to battle through this as well. I tell the story over and over again where there's one night, just one really bad night, where she is just in a world of pain. She rolls over in her bed, she looks at her mom and says, "I am so sorry that you're having to go through this with me." Ugh. And so that's the kind of more adult sort of behavior she exhibited. And she was just an extraordinary young lady.
What a strong little girl, and an inspiration, of course. You wrote a book, and the proceeds from your book, which you've already sold a few hundred copies, right? The proceeds are going to be benefiting some deserved folks.
Yeah, so every penny of profit that I make as an author goes right back into Alexa's Butterflies of Hope. It's an organization, it's a 501c3, established by Warren and Wendy Brown to help people in eastern Sandusky County and your area, WTOL viewing area, who have kids who are going through life-changing medical problems, whether it be childhood cancer, which, by the way, we are still seeing kids being diagnosed, not at the hugely alarming rate that we saw it when I was investigating this back in 2006, 7, and so forth. But we're still seeing these families. And that organization gives money to these families to pay real bills. Because if you think about it, families are having to go to the hospital, and maybe they have overnight stays, and maybe they live on the outskirts, and they need help with gas money, for goodness sakes. And so, the real bills that come along with this, that's what that organization does, and it helps families in such a great way, and it's such a reflection of what Alexa would have wanted, reaching out and helping others.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of the load off when these families are going through so much. You're going to be in town tomorrow, so people can come out. Where can we find you?
Yes, thank you very much. I mean, we're going to be excited to be in Toledo again. We are having our book signing tomorrow from noon to 3. You can see it on your screen there at NeverMore Bookstore. It's on West Sylvania Avenue, right there in Toledo. I will have books on hand. If you don't have your book yet, if you already bought your book, thank you so much for buying it. Bring it along. I'll be happy to sign it. Bring your cash, bring your checks, and also bring your masks. Those will be mandatory.
Yes.
But we are just going to have a fun time. Look, I know the Buckeye game is on. It's the first Buckeye game in so long, but hey, record the Buckeye game,
Yeah,
and then come out.
or halftime or something, right?
Yeah, come out during halftime. You can still support the Buckeyes, and you can support kids and their families who need your support the most.
So important. Jonathan, thank you so much for doing this and for helping out these families who need it. And thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
I can't thank you guys enough, and thank you very much for showing your support.
Absolutely. Take care now.